What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns climbing back up on Mount Soapbox for yet another rant, as with tradition for almost each and every Sunday. As long as I have something to rant about, I'll do it. So this week, yes, there's been some controversy on free mode for Grand Theft Auto Online in Stab City, as pointed out on Reddit and by several other YouTubers. And it revolves around a flag. A flag some of you may or may not know about because some of my audience, some of my fans, viewers, and subscribers do not reside in the United States. It is the Confederate battle flag, which was once on a trailer in Stab City, which is basically the headquarters, the base of operations for the Lost MC. Now, in order to confirm this, I went back in time to one of my own videos, Tank Stab City, which I put out on January 2015, where I took the tank in with Janine to the Lost MC gang attack, and we had a little bit of fun at the Lost MC's expense. And as you can tell from the screenshots, yes, the Confederate flag was once on that trailer. Obviously, not anymore. Now, most of you probably know about the whole Confederate flag controversy, the tragic shootings that happened in South Carolina, leaving several people dead. The southern governments of South Carolina, Alabama, I think a few others, called for the removal of the Confederate battle flag, the Southern Cross, from government property, state grounds, and it was pulled down. Now, the question you're probably wondering is, why did Rockstar make this decision to pull the Confederate battle flag off that trailer and replace it with an American flag? Now, it's quite possible that maybe they're just going to randomly generate different flags right there. You know, one week it's a Confederate flag, the next week it's flag of San Andreas, and the Jolly Roger the week after, which would be interesting though if they had little stuff like that that would change and we were just noticing it now, but I doubt it. So why are people having a big to-do about the Confederate flag? More specifically, the Confederate battle flag, aka the Southern Cross, not to be confused with the Stars and Bars, also known as the First National. Yes, I'm a flag nerd. I know a lot about flags because I'm a history buff, and I also happen to live in the South, even though I hate the heat and humidity each and every summer over my past 30 some odd years. Alright, so the flag itself means something to different groups. Originally, the Confederate battle flag was flown by the Army of North Virginia under the command of General Robert E. Lee, and it later became unofficially adopted as the flag, the symbol of the Confederacy. Not really, because there are three other flags as I mentioned. The First National, which is the Stars and Bars, the Second National, which really looked like a surrender flag, and the Third National was basically the Second National but with a big red bar on the right side. Anyways, doesn't really matter. What we're talking about and focusing on is the Confederate battle flag, which means something to different groups of people. For example, the first group, Southerners, which are not racist, okay? The majority of Southern whites are not racist. I have to point that out because I am a Southerner, and I'm white. All right, so they see it as heritage and history, not hate. Now, you can agree with that viewpoint, you can disagree with it, that's just their view. The next is Black Americans. They see it as a symbol of segregation, hatred, racism, slavery, and the last of the three groups are the white supremacists that see the flag as a symbol of white power. Personally, I agree with the Southern governments for pulling down the flag from state grounds, but at the same time, I respect people's rights to own the flag on their person and property. So back to the issue at hand. Why was this flag pulled? Well, seems pretty apparent. Several innocent churchgoers were murdered in a hate crime in Charleston, South Carolina, and it's caused this big uproar across the country. And so a lot of folks, stores, businesses, even a pro golfer who owns the General Lee, or one of the versions of the General Lee, not the original probably, has decided to remove the Confederate battle flag from the top of the Charger and replace it with the Stars and Stripes. In fact, it's gone so far that TV Land pulled the Dukes of Hazzard series from their network. By the way, Dukes of Hazzard was not a racist show. It was just about good old boys having fun. But the Confederate battle flag is not PC, so the show had to go. And it's interesting because we do have the Charger in the game, aka the Dukes, which originally aired in Grand Theft Auto 4 and was transferred over to Grand Theft Auto Online, part of the exclusive pack that came with the current gen consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, for gamers that originally played the game on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Once they transferred their characters over from last to current gen, they got several exclusive content sent vehicles to go with their characters, including the Stallion and Dukes in Grand Theft Auto Online. What's interesting is whenever I did a preview video of the Dukes a few months ago, back in November, I went into Los Santos Customs, as I always do in my videos, showing off whatever mods you could get with that vehicle. And on the roof, you could get several flags on top of the Dukes, except for one flag that a lot of people were expecting to get. You guessed it, the Confederate battle flag, because a lot of people wanted to make the Dukes look like the General Lee. Well, as similar as possible, but even without the flag and all the decals, the Dukes is still an awesome muscle car. This flag was not down on Grove Street, where it would be very inappropriate in the game. It was not over in Mirror Park. It was not even up in Rockford or Vinewood Hills. It was in Stab City, home of the Lost MC, which is, of course, an outlaw motorcycle gang, which does have black members. So this MC is obviously not racist, as we've seen in the DLC, Grand Theft Auto 4 Lost and the Damned, and, of course, in the events revolving Grand Theft Auto 5 Story and Grand Theft Auto Online. There are white and black bikers in the Lost MC. So what the hell happened? Did Johnny K, who's still alive in the events of Grand Theft Auto Online because they take place before the present day events in Grand Theft Auto 5, decide to hold a meeting, and he started out like this, quote unquote, "Hey brothers, you know, I realize the Lost MC is all about, you know, partying and drinking and running guns and drugs, stealing, killing, and sleeping around, as well as mistreating our old ladies. But you know something? That flag on that trailer here in Stab City, that Confederate battle flag, it's gotta go." If that was the case, then it's very thoughtful of the Lost MC to do that, right? Because you never know when someone may come through Stab City and be offended by a flag, not an outlaw motorcycle gang. Anyway, so what is the real reason, Rockstar? I would love to know, and I seriously doubt we're going to ever get an official response from Rockstar. If we do, that would be a shock and a surprise. I think what happened is probably PC pressure by Take-Two, the parent company of Rockstar, or the heads of Rockstar themselves decided to remove the Confederate battle flag from Stab City. Now, the irony here is that this is a video game series that till now has not really given two shits about PC or conformity. It just doesn't really make much sense to remove one single flag from one trailer park where Outlaw Motorcycle Club happens to reside, especially when it's a game that has crime, fighting, killing, stealing, booze, drugs, prostitutes, strippers, gangs, MCs, sex, and almost every single dirty word in the book that's also been demonized for how they treat women in Grand Theft Auto 5 Story. So yes, Rockstar has gotten a lot of controversy, a lot of flack for a lot of the things that's happened in Grand Theft Auto 5 and throughout the Grand Theft Auto series. But now they've decided to become a little bit more PC, to conform a little bit, because people find that flag offensive. There's a lot of offensive shit in the game, Rockstar. It's nothing but offensive to each and every group on the planet. South Park is offensive to almost everybody. The real funny thing is there's actually Confederate flags, I think one or two more scattered throughout the map in various homes and whatnot. I'm sure once it's been brought to Rockstar's attention, the devs will replace those flags with stars and stripes as well. But the question that has to be asked here, and this is the entire reason why I made this video, is how far are you going to go, Rockstar, when it comes to the future of Grand Theft Auto? Because you just set a very dangerous precedence for your series by removing one flag. Because where does it stop? Okay, so you no longer fit this group by removing that flag in a trailer park where there's an outlaw motorcycle club. Okay, good for you, Rockstar. What next? People don't like cussing, so I guess cussing's gonna have to go. Followed next by all the sex, the stealing, the weapons, the killing, the fighting, because all that's real offensive and not very PC, so all that stuff is gonna be scrapped for probably the future Grand Theft Auto game that comes out, I don't know, whenever, 2020, 2021, and the game's gonna be basically called Grand to All. You'll run around asking people nicely to, quote-unquote, borrow their cars, their boats, and their aircraft. You won't be stealing anymore in the game. You won't be killing people. And if you run somebody over, you'll have to get out of your car and weep there for 5 minutes, like, oh no, I accidentally killed somebody. Or else it'll be like one of those games, what was it? There was a game where like it would automatically have the NPCs jump out of the way every time you would try and run them over. I think it was The Crew. I tried it in a beta a few months ago, and yeah, every time I try to run over one of the NPCs walking around, they would automatically jump out of the way. So that's what's going to happen now. The NPCs will automatically dodge you if you try to run them over, and they'll always say something nice and friendly to you, being very positive and reassuring and polite, and you'll get to run around giving people handshakes, hugs, Oh, and this is a really cool part about Grand 2 All, the new game, is you're going to be able to give players flowers and candy and fruit baskets. Okay, I realize that the next Grand Theft Auto game is not going to be anything like that. There's still going to be all that stuff that we mentioned. But the issue here is, Rockstar, when you're making a game like Grand Theft Auto, which has a series for pushing the envelope, for not being very PC, for not conforming, when you start to cater to the PC culture and the conformity by removing a flag from a trailer park where you fully expect the flag to be anyways, where does it end, Rockstar? Tell me, where does it end? Because I'm of the mindset, like in Cartoon Wars, a 2-part episode from South Park, because obviously I'm a big South Park fan, where the entire point was, in comedy and TV shows, either everything could be okay to comment and talk about and laugh about, or nothing's okay. That's how I feel about it. If you start cherry picking issues and say, okay, well, we're no longer going to have this as an issue, or talk about that, or bring this up, and you start censoring TV shows and movies and video games and books, all we're going to have left is G-rated Disney films, kiddie shows, and early childhood rated video games.